What up, folks? Once again, it is your boy Tim with another ride sharing video. Make no mistake about it, just about all of us content creators, rideshare drivers, whether you're driving for Uber or Lyft, are always on the lookout for alternative companies, other rideshare avenues to earn money doing what many of us like doing, which is driving, but making a fair wage. And today we're going to highlight another company and we'll discuss it. This company is called Hitch. Listen to some of the promos they are offering on their site. Now, these are aimed at potential customers. You can leave whenever you want, departures every hour. Now, the specialty of Hitch is long distance trips. How many of you veteran drivers out there prefer long distance trips as opposed to the shorter puddle jumps? Meaning you drive a passenger 30, 40, 50 miles, maybe even longer, and potentially make your earnings on that trip, not having to deal with multiple types of strangers, not having to sit around waiting for trips in between, multiple personalities and things like that. Many of us would prefer to just take one long trip, come back, and most of your day is done. So this company is operating on that sort of premise. They offer long-term trips to their passengers, such as stuff like Houston to San Antonio, Orlando to Miami. So we're talking trips that span hundreds of miles. So the secondary offering on their site, spacious vehicles. Now, under that, they stated, as a passenger, you can always get a window seat in large cars. I don't understand that, because the vast majority of seats in vehicles are window seats. I mean, there's one seat in the middle, I guess. If you got a 7-seater and you're in the third row seat or something, you might be in the middle, but who the hell wants that? But yeah, offering a window seat in a vehicle, that's nothing special. Unless you're putting somebody in a 7-passenger or 15-passenger van or something like that. But for us driving cars, everybody gets a window seat. Next, hundreds of pickup and drop-off locations. I suppose we come right to the person's house. Now, this is for independent contractors with Hitch. These are not W-2 employees. These are folks using their own vehicles. Hitch has on their website, in regards to drivers signing up. Now, I don't like this lingo, but I'll run it by you and we'll talk about it. There is a chance to earn $21 or more on every ride. Now, for us Uber and Lyft drivers, we know $21 per ride is way above what you make on the average trip with Uber or Lyft. However, I don't like the wording when you say there is a chance. This is not a damn lottery. We're driving to earn money to feed our families, pay our bills, etc. What do you mean a chance? Either we can earn $21 per trip or we cannot. When you start talking about there is a chance, that means there's also a chance you won't earn $21. I don't like the wording of that. That sounds very bait and switch like. But that is on their website. A chance to earn $21 per trip. Why they threw that in there other than to get Uber and Lyft drivers to come on their side because we get paid so low per trip. It sounds great until you throw the word chance in there, meaning it might not even happen. Now, Hitch has been around since 2018, yet they have not gained a strong foothold in the market. And I will tell you why I believe that is looking at their website. Now, Hitch, this company is primarily based out of Florida and Texas, the entire state. Like I said, long trips, things of that nature. But look at what they have on the website. They give an example of taking a trip from Houston to San Antonio. According to the website, a trip from Houston to San Antonio will cost the passenger $100 to $150. Now, Houston to San Antonio is slightly less than 200 miles. I think Google says 197 miles. So a passenger can travel 197 miles for between $100 to $150. Now, clearly, that's well under $1 per mile being charged to the passenger, meaning that if you're a driver, you have to expect Hitch to take a cut out of that money. So I don't know how much of a cut Hitch would take. But even if they took zero, getting paid $100 to $150 for a 197-mile trip is nothing to boast about. But let's give you some more. Jacksonville to Orlando. This is for their Florida side of the out. Jacksonville to Orlando pays $75 to $100. Better yet, it's going to cost the passenger. You can travel from Jacksonville to Orlando, Florida for between $75 and $100. The trip between Jacksonville and Orlando is about 141 miles. So a passenger can take a 141-mile trip for only $75 to $100. And last but not least, Orlando to Miami. That's a pretty distant trip. Driving from Orlando to Miami is 235 miles. So you're talking 4 solid hours of driving. 235 miles, the passenger can expect to pay for that trip $150 to $250. Based on the numbers I'm giving you, one thing should be flat out obvious. This shit doesn't pay a damn thing. This is not something that you would want to get involved in. Probably why Hitch has not gained a huge stake in the ride-sharing industry. If you're going to drive someone 235 miles and their cost is between $150 and $250, how much do you fucking make? Because Hitch is going to take a percentage out of that. 235 miles and you could make as low as $150, and they haven't even taken their cut out. That is ridiculous. And as I say in every trip, when I'm talking about Uber or Lyft, the further you drive a passenger for Uber or Lyft, the worse it is for you. Because first of all, you're not making a hell of a lot at base fare, but then of course you got to come back to your area. These trips are even more egregious for the simple fact, if you take someone from Houston to San Antonio, you got to get back to Houston. So you took them from Houston to San Antonio, you made these bullshit $150 to $150 wages minus their cut. Now you got to take the entire 197-mile trip back at your own expense. And there is absolutely nothing on their damn website to suggest we guarantee you trips on the return. If you do any of these trips and end up driving back empty, these are all unprofitable trips. Even without Hitch taking a single damn dime out of the fare. If you drive from Orlando to Miami 235 miles and you get paid $150 to $250 and you have to drive back empty, that's not a profitable trip. I suppose if you get the maximum amount, which is $250, now you're talking $500 to drive 470 miles. That's about 8 hours of driving for that $500. 470 miles. I assume that's probably over a tank of fuel for most vehicles. You're gonna burn out a complete tank of gas in some vehicles, maybe a tank and a half. Not terrible, but remember they said between 150 and 250. And I'm saying, I guess if you made the max, with Hitch not taking a single damn dime out of it, it might be worth it. If you could get somebody you want a 235-mile trip there and back, which is 470, and they paid you $500, it's not horrible, but the 150 to 250 number they give you does not talk about what Hitch is going to take out of the fare. So when you look at their numbers, none of these numbers are profitable, in my humble opinion, even if Hitch takes out 15-20% of the fare, which we know compared to Uber and Lyft, they're probably going to take out a hell of a lot more than that. But even if they took out 15%, 20% of the fare for what they're charging the passengers, I just don't see it. 197-mile trip between Houston and San Antonio, and they're charging $100 to $150 to the passenger. That 197 miles you drive out, you got to drive back. So you're talking round trip 400 miles, basically. 100 to $150. That's a loss. That's a financial loss. So Hitch, I would not put in the category as a alternative to Uber or Lyft that is a decent one. Hitch is a company I would avoid, but I wanted to bring it by you folks. Somebody mentioned it in the comments, and I have seen a few articles on it. Hitch, Florida, Houston, avoid this company. But what do you guys think in the comments? Let your boy know. Any veteran drivers out there, anybody out there that has had some form of contact or heard about Hitch or know somebody driving for it, I would love to know. Let me know if I'm wrong somewhere. I don't see it based on what I'm seeing here, but if I am, someone let me know. By the way, you can book rides with this company via the app, website, or even a phone. So this could also lead to strangers in your shit too, particularly with being able to use a telephone to book rides. So anyhow, let your boy know in the comments, and as always, subscribe to the damn channel. You know what we do. Catch you in the next video.